Alright guys, welcome. We barely get any of the Cantha music that time. Because I've just started, very rushed. Yeah, part 12, part 11, part 12. We're early in the morning here. I just got myself a hot drink. It's about 8 AM on a Sunday. Lovely, quiet Sunday. Finally the heat is broken. You know, it's grey, overcast skies, back to normal basically, as far as the UK is concerned. But, you know, that lovely breeze. I really like the very end of summer, because, I don't know, you've got all your satisfaction of having the heat, but now you get to actually chill a little bit, and it's just that perfect quiet early morning time. So anyway, I wanted to record yesterday, and I didn't in the end, so I want to get it nice and early today. Yeah, there's a few things to talk about, a few things going on. First of all, you should notice 3 new icons up here on the top left of my screen. That's Blish HUD. So, the past couple of days, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy XIV. And I think I mentioned this on the previous part. It's really struck me how crap that game is. Like the UI is terrible. It's awful. It's a rubbish game. It's so bad. And but it has like this huge add-on culture. Like there are launchers with like 1 billion plugins, and you can tweak bits of the UI, and you can, you know, there's. So the big thing is, I used to do that. If you watch my Final Fantasy XIV episodes from, you know, a year and a half ago, I had things very customized. So first was a matter of like relearning all that, like how I had it set up, and second was, I've got to improve it, because when I do more videos later for WoodenPotatoes 2, the dream is people watch it and they're like, oh, this game doesn't look half bad, you know. But the amount of configuration, the one good thing about Final Fantasy though is the configuration is insane. They've got such a big community. The amount of things you can do is wild. So, you know, I've just been in a very like kind of almost game techie headspace for a while. I was setting up a DPS meter, which I'd never really done before that game. There's something very weird going on with the community. You know, I tend to think, and I guess I'm wrong about this, I need to change my mind on this. I tend to think the more people are involved in something, the more it averages out to a common level, and like weird extreme subculture stuff basically can't exist across massive populations. That's sort of my view of the world, of society. But I'll tell you, there is some weird, extreme subculture shit going on with Final Fantasy, where, guys, I'm telling you, their add-on culture is insane. I guess a lot of it's inherited from WoW, where they more openly, you know, endorse that kind of stuff, and also WoW has another massive community. But, I mean, there is so much insanely talented, crazy stuff. Clearly, you know, tons of websites dedicated to like logging and passing numbers and telling you everything you can do in fights. It's crazy. From like really hardcore try-hard sort of like add-ons to really just minor bizarre tiny things, or like roleplay casual things. It's insane the amount of stuff there is. And yet here's the bizarre subculture, like nobody talks about it. Every time anyone mentions anything, and this has happened, I'm afraid to say, even in the Spuds, the WoodenPotatoes Spud, like, where I'm asking about it, people are like, oh, you're going to be really quiet, oh, you can't show that off, oh. It's like clearly hundreds of thousands of people, if not more, over years and years and years and years, are deving and using thousands of add-ons. Clearly it's a huge thing, and yet, oh, shh, be quiet. I read a thread that described the phenomenon on Reddit last night, where someone's you know, drew a comparison to like pearl clutching Victorian era humans talking about sex. You know, everyone loves sex, everyone has sex, sex is a big part of the human experience, but, you know, oh, gotta be quiet about it, don't talk about it in polite company. That's kind of the Final Fantasy thing, and I think there's a legit reason for it. Like, I read that if they have GMs, like Guild Wars has this as well. This is kind of a funny thing to think about, because you almost never met them, never meet them. But, you know, Guild Wars can monitor chat logs, and they can have GMs seeing what you do. If you guys remember, in Guild Wars, you had, like, the Sandswept Isles with the Karma for killing ambients, and, like, you could go there on a minion mancer and just, like, AFK and get loads of Karma. Well, they'll have GMs, like, porting around, and they'll whisper you and say, hey, are you AFK? Is this idle gameplay? And if it is, they'll kick you out in Guild Wars. They have GMs. Final Fantasy does as well. And apparently, if you say in chat, I use add-ons on any level, and someone reports you for it, it's like a 2-week ban or something. It's really weird. Or apparently they've cracked down on it recently or something. I don't know. It's bizarre. And I guess it's this thing where it's like, you know, it's an Eastern company. They're not out here in the West. They don't really know I don't know whether they fully communicated how they feel about it, but it looks like a shit show. There's been a lot of this kind of discussion on the Guild Wars side, you know, with Arc DPS and stuff over the years. And I always thought ArenaNet did a terrible job laying out a game plan, laying out a philosophy, guiding the community, being the parent in the room and saying this is what's fucking endorsed and this is what's not. I still think ArenaNet generally don't do a very good job, but I tell you, Guild Wars 2 is 1,000 times more settled. Like, it's insane to me, the Final Fantasy thing, that you've got so many people doing so much stuff, and then it's also like, oh, but don't... So, for me, it's this weird thing where I'm like, I don't really know what I want to do with my streams and the videos I make about it, because, I mean, I was doing it openly before. You know, like, you'll install for an example, I installed, like, you can get an add-on for, like, a DPS meter, and then there's, like, 500 plugins for just that, for different overlays for that, and ways it can log and blah 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 blah. There's like a billion fucking things, and like you'll pick one of them and it will have on the front screen, hey, are you a streamer? Do you know a streamer that uses this overlay? Here, link their Twitch and we'll put it on the screen. So, you know, like literally like a graphical front end for a DPS meter I installed yesterday gave me a list of Twitch streamers that use it, and they are openly asking for more. And yeah, I'll go into the Spud chat and talk about it, and they'll be like, oh, no, you shouldn't have that on screen, it's a bad idea. And I'll go to Reddit and they'll have it as well. They'll say, oh, it's a bad idea, nobody... So I don't know, it's a very, very weird situation going on with that game. Anyway, so that's some of the stuff I've been doing. Back to Guild Wars more specifically. I woke up this morning to see a message in Spud about Guild Wars that one of the Blish updates is really cool, so I wanted to check that out. I haven't used Blish since Secrets of the Obscure came out, and it may actually be kind of nice for us with some of the side achievements. And if you guys remember this Super Adventure box, so sort of mid-spring, a couple of months ago, I think I did an episode where I wanted to show you Blish HUD, like I had it on, and I was faffing about and fucking about. And I think I used display capture in the end and stuff. Well, you know, since I'm kind of I tend to find once I got the ball rolling in any direction, you know, I'm very competent at a thing, and I can, you know, I'll just work through it. So I just sat down here today and I was like, all right, how the fuck do I capture Blish? So I've set it up. So this is modern Blish, by the way, and I don't actually think I've shown this in a Guild Wars 2 thing for ages. So I should be able to hook my API key up to this, and it will be brilliant. My API key seems bugged. That's something else I think I've got to figure out. Has anyone else had this problem where your API key is just like taking a crap recently? Like efficiency doesn't work for me. And I deleted my key and I regenerated a key from the official website and put it in, and it said it was bugged as well. I know the API sometimes goes down, and the API was down right at the start of Secrets of the Obscure, but this is not that. This is something else, and it's really weird to me. I don't know what exactly is going on there. But anyway, if you guys remember, there was this module. This is what I was just linked about in Spud. This one, Regions of Tyria. A beautiful notification when you walk in and out of different areas. So you see there, it says the Traders Forum. Lion's Arch Traders Forum there. Now that information is there on the map. It's the white text on the map. And it's really cool, flavorful stuff that I really like, and I think that people should be able to see easily. Guild Wars is generally amazing with its UI. Now, if I mouse over my mini-map, you'll see it says Traders Forum at the top there as well. But that's not visible when you're not mousing over it. You kind of have to really know about that UI. New players won't get it. Basically, I think that this Regions of Tyria thing should be vanilla. It should be a vanilla option. It is that fucking good. It's so good. Cool. And especially when I think about new players, this is the kind of thing I would have wanted there right with the Steam launch. Because, you know, when's the next big new player intake? So, Kryta, the Gandharan Fields, that's the map. And then in a minute, it will flick and it will say where in the Gandharan Fields we are, which is the Cornucopian Fields. Okay, they didn't do that. But, you know, when we go to Lake Bounty, it will. Which is over here. Here you go. This is Lake Bounty, and when we cross the boundary into Lake Bounty, come on now. We're in Lake Bounty. It didn't proc. I don't know. It's a really good add-on. I've just demonstrated it so badly. But in Spud, someone showed that it lists it in New Crichton and stuff. So I thought I'd have a look, but it doesn't seem like an... Blish is amazing, by the way. It's like a hub and a place for add-ons. It is so good. This character one is amazing. And all of the UI, like, matches the in-game UI, and it all installs so much easier. Like, as much shit as there is on the Final Fantasy side, it's unbelievably convoluted. Like, Arc DPS is so much better, it's unreal. I don't know, it's got less features, obviously, but, you know. So, how do I actually proc the character thing? I was talking to you guys about this for ages before. Do I right-click this? No? Oh, there you go. Toggle track characters. Oh, it won't work because my API isn't working. I see. Well, normally when I click that, it would be a list of all my characters and I could swap without going through the login screen and all kinds of cool stuff. All right, anyway, so there you go. Just a little bit with Blish, and I will probably just disable it now for the rest of this episode until I can figure out what's going on with the trails and things. Maybe we'll have a quick sneak peek for a second. Let's get our provisioners tokens for the day. You go, one of those. One of those. Let's pop over there. Now, I don't know, maybe I can trade in another Skywatch weapon or something. I'm not sure. Also, I've got some gems. So, I was thinking of looking on the gem store and purchasing some stuff. For example, on the gem store, there is the read book emote. Now, that seems pretty goddamn good for me, right? Now, Kerry's had this for a while. I don't know where she got it exactly. Please tell me I've got space. Oh my god, we have more guild invites. When? I went through these just the other day. Alright, okay, let's find a very... Here we go. This guy, he doesn't need a big response. Let's do that on screen here. I very rarely actually do this. So, Whoopity Whoop says that they'd like to be in NA. So we just rep the NA one. And these panels are all so laggy. I would have hoped that the DirectX stuff helped this, but no. We can send him his invite, and since he gave me a short message, we can type a quick one back. There you go. And now when we delete this, we'll get our Black Lion stuff. So there you go. So, oh, and the Wizards Vault's updated again today. Oh yeah, and I got a bunch of this to buy, so hold on. Let me just turn markers off for a second here. So Blish is still on, but the markers are off. That's going to clean up the UI quite a lot. So let's do the Wizard's Vault real quick before I forget it exists. We have 345. So I can buy another 2 Sanctified skins. So we're nearly done with the Sanctified skins now, I think. We need a Greatsword. Oh, yeah, we need a Greatsword, we need an axe, and we need a dagger. So we need 3 more. And we can't afford the 3rd one, so we're right on the edge. In fact, today I might get it all done. So let's open the Black Line trading box there. Let's open this one. Let's dump that stuff down there. Let's eat the read book emote and have a quick look at it. Read book. We're going all over the place here. Oh, I was going to say, I thought there'd be an actual book for us to read, and there is. That's good. Looks quite nice. I wonder if they actually made a unique model for the book or whatever. Yeah, we could use this in theory. You know, the thing is, right, this is one way... You know, there's this whole discussion about how does the gem store impact negatively the rest of the game experience. And especially when you think about sub-fee game. When we think about this idealistic sub-fee game that essentially doesn't have a cash shop, and they don't even really exist anymore, but let's just say... You know, if this was made... This, in theory, could just be an automatically popping emote whenever I interact with any kind of lore consumable in the game. Not consumable, but, you know, lore panel, right? So it pops up the book UI panel or whatever. This could just play from this in the background. But instead, we're Guild Wars, so we have to monetize things. So we're not going to do that. We'll sell it. But, I mean, maybe they could do both, I guess. But it's interesting how, if the gem store didn't exist, if there wasn't a market incentive for this thing to be created, I don't know if it would have existed at all, you know. But they have it. Okay, so that's that. And now the Sanctified skins. I actually think I prefer Sip Coffee, to be honest. So we scroll down and then we go up. Shield, scepter, rifle, pistol, mace, longbow, hammer, great swords. So there's the great swords. There's the dagger, and then the axe is at the top of the list. Okay, good. I think last time I did that, I was smart enough to remember to go from the top down instead of the bottom up. We can start getting rid of some of those skins as well, but they're getting mixed in a bit awkwardly now. We can have a lovely consume there and watch all of those disappear, which is nice. And restore our bags to the correct position. Oh yeah, and then gems. Okay, so but then I'll need, if we're gonna do, so the question here is refreshing seasonal outfits, ceremonial plaid, Amnitast feathered mounts. Are these new? I didn't realise that they were doing these. But 3 raptors, that's weird. I mean, I guess they could do bundles like this now that mount, like, favoriting is in and randomized mount. You could favorite all 3 and then they would just randomly pop up each time. I'm not sure there's really much else that's value for me except to just buy keys. So that's what I'm going to do. So first we're going to go here. This is the most keys I've opened over the past couple of months, right? Because I had that whole story where I got the goddamn thing in a long time. So we already have, I mean, fuck it, I'll just buy 25. I'm going to go for 25. They're not on sale anymore either at the moment. But what we're going to find is, because we bought the read book emote, I don't have enough gem. Maybe I do? I do. Okay, we do, never mind. I was going to do a currency transference with my gold. You notice how much gold I'm getting at the moment? I'm not actually playing that much anymore. I just log in for an AT, do an AT, and log back out, go back to Final Fantasy or whatever. And somehow I've managed to get another 300 gold since the last episode. My mystic coins, I think, are building up fairly substantially as well. So, all right, here we go. Oh, okay, and then we accept the key. Good. We don't have 10 males. We have 9, so they're still getting through. So let's see where we get. Once again, just like before, the only thing we really care about are guaranteed unlockers. That is the only thing we care about, and we're expecting to get 1 every 3 keys or so. So there I've opened 4 and got none. It's bad luck. Do you remember the last 5 I did? I got none as well. Okay, we've now opened 6 and got none. This is really rubbish luck. Okay. Oh, this is the new greatsword, so that's cool. Remember we previewed that on the last part. So that was nice, alright. But this is... Oh my god, we haven't got a single one. Oh, not a single one in 15 keys, because 10 today and 5 before. There's one. 1 in 15. Maybe we can sell the hatchlings for some money. This is rubbish, guys. Oh, have they changed the rates? Oh, Maguma shield skin. That might sell for something as well. Oh my god. They must have changed the rates. Holy shit. I'm going to get 1 in 30 keys. I'm 100% convinced they've changed the rates. This is nuts. Oh, that might change the whole game plan. I got right near the finish line here. They've changed the rates. There's no way. I got 2 out of 30 keys. 2, because we just on the last key got 1. Well, there you go. That's some catharsis for people who are, you know, sitting there grumbling, jealous, frustrated, whatever, you know, because they get bad luck. You know, or I've had more than enough good luck, you may feel, so that's fine. Where's the, this thing? Jesus Christ. Oh. We need to check if they've actually updated it as well with the last patch. It doesn't look like they did. These are all basically good rolls for me. That was rough, guys. Shimmering Aurora Sword and a Chained Dagger. Oh, and then we can buy 2 more with the statuettes. Not worth. I think that's the end of my key phase here. Wait, where are they? I thought they were like tab 2. Oh, here we go. That's interesting. They're only listed under classic cosmetics, but these things unlock all kinds of stuff. The ether-bound chest plate and the Shatter Spark sword. And we had the new greatsword as well. Basically nothing Liz can equip, I'm afraid. 22 gold from the Skyscale hatchlings. Alright, that's some compensation at least. I'll sell those instantly. I already have the Skyscale set from whenever it last came out. The idea of those is you craft them into higher tiers. Maguma shield is only 8 gold now. Oh, wow. They were all like 20, 30 the other day. Or a couple of weeks ago, and I was spending that amount on them. The ether-bound stuff was fairly expensive as well. In fact, hold on. Didn't I just unlock an ether-bound weapon? Like, from a thing? A guaranteed unlock? When they're also doubling up in the things as well? Anyway, there you go. Alright. So, let's get on to... I think that's basically all the little things that I wanted to talk about here at the start. Let's get on to Secrets of the Obscure now. And, further up to the top left. And we can do the next Bastion, which is the Bastion of Strength. We have Strength, Obscure, and whatever this is, the obscured one. Now, I might be wrong. I know that I've started quite a few of these episodes saying, oh, we'll probably get multiple Bastions done in this one. I genuinely think we will here, because my gut is that there's not so many interactables on the Bastion of Strength. That's my gut. Could be wrong, but we'll see. Let's have a quick talk to the provisioner guy as well here, just in case he has anything to say. There you go, look, we can trade the hammer. So does that rotate every day, I guess? So we can get another 5 provisioners tokens from that guy. Alright, now let's check here. Let's get the music on. Let's get this up. Let's get the effects on a little bit and the dialogue on. And I guess we'll scan for a rift at the start as well, because if there's one near us... Looks like it's over on the Bastion of the Obscure. And it looks like there's an event near us as well. There's a fishmonger here. Now, do the fishmongers in Secrets of the Obscure sell a new bait specific to Secrets of the Obscure? I don't think they do. I'll buy an ambergris. I've got quite a lot of stuff from... look at that, 82. That's quite a lot of gold, 82 ambergris. And that's literally just from doing half of the cod walking amongst... cod fishing amongst mere minnows. Cod swimming amongst mere minnows. So, if you guys want a bit of cash that you can get relatively easily, it's a time sink, don't get me wrong, but, you know, it's like one of those really casual things you can do while, you know, focusing on something else, some other video or something. Definitely just do the fishing thing, because, my God, you can get a lot of money from that. So, the Astral Ward training ground. So, this is a bastion where they train the Astral Ward, I suppose. And what I've really got to try and do here, guys, in my head is I've got to imagine that this bastion is, you know, several miles away. You know what I like to think of it as? Like, you know, the distance between each of the bastions, I like to think that this is like the channel between France and England, you know. I like to imagine that this is a really long fucking way, alright? We're in a whole different environment here. You know, it may look very similar, but this place has a different leader, very different kinds of people hang around here, doing very different kinds of things. Oh, look, it's one of the spirit things from End of Dragons. Yeah, these have been all over this expansion, and I don't think we've seen... Have we seen some? I don't know. Also, I don't know how to do this. Shouldn't I be able to smash the crates? Pick a crate up? Yeah, it's kind of the contract I got. I did get an armor piece. Yes, it's true. It's true. Chat, do you know if an NA player can server visit to EU? Some people can. Vast majority of the community cannot, though. Basically, if you're a partner and you have actual incentive to do it, if you cast PvP or whatever, you can do it. Stuff like that.
We could take the fight to Nyos right now.
Eager to get eviscerated? We've no idea what's on the other side. We could be walking into a cryptid meat grinder. A meat grinder that also gives you acute anxiety.
I like that. Because there's going to be players that are thinking something like that. So they have like a celestial deer here. I'm sure Naos will be the next patch, my friend, so don't you worry. I'm really weirded out by the fact that I don't know how to do that over there. Maybe it's one of the ones you walk into and it starts like a long walk or something. So here's a flyer for combat training. I don't know if I've ever in my life read this. It's time you lazy lot learn the true meaning of combat. Attend my hand-to-hand crash course and shed your weakness. Participate any evening at the Bastion of Strength. Note, by attending, you're acknowledging that Galrath is not responsible for any deaths or permanent injuries that may result from the training. So I guess this is Galrath's area. Livia has an area here as well, by the way. I feel like we're near it. Isn't this... Basically, do you guys remember from Grothmar? There's the target shootout event where you stand on the panel There's one of those on this map, and it's really good. It's also really difficult, so I might need you guys. I mean, I know it's very early in the morning here, but if anyone's able to play, I might need you guys' help, because I think there's an achievement for completing it, or completing it well or something, and I don't know if I've got it. Maybe I got it. I think the last time I did it, the first time I found it, I like really struggled and just about managed to sneak through. Just about. And I'm getting real frame drops here. It's funny as well, when I run Guild Wars 2 and Final Fantasy, both clients at the same time, when I tab into Guild Wars, it runs like buttery smooth. And when I tab into Final Fantasy, it's like dying. I don't really know why that is. Because as a general rule, Guild Wars is the one that frame drops more. And Final Fantasy only really frame drops when you're standing around like hundreds of players in their like major towns, which Guild Wars does also, right? But you know, as a general gameplay thing. But then when my PC's under a lot of stress, Guild Wars is the champion. Guild Wars holds up much, much, much better. There's lots of... Okay, I've got a bit of a problem with these maps. The exploration of these maps, and it's just there's a. Have you guys noticed this? I've been going very breezy and light with it, but there's a lot of places like this where it's like, oh, is there something here? And then there just isn't. And I think the problem is in the Wizard's Tower, I was kind of conditioned that there is stuff in the cubby holes, and now I'm constantly thinking, ooh, is there something there? But it would be so tedious to try and search everything with a fine tooth comb in this map. So now I'm just kind of going quite light with it. I had a comment on YouTube. I don't know whether it was someone that said maybe we missed some dialogue in the museum. The Leviathan, the Shore Eater, we didn't actually read it. Do you guys know if that's right or not? So we're in some kind of event here. So there's another spellcrafting thing, but we are being asked to destroy cryptist turrets. I think we do that with our sky scale abilities. Yeah, okay, so check these out. This is a cryptist turret. Oh my god, it bounced me up somehow. Oh, I guess it was just the updraft. I'm just trying to get a good look at the model here. Really weird, really cool, creepy new model. I don't think I've ever seen anything in Guild Wars, anything at all like that. Demonic Seal. This creature sealed it inside its spiny shell, preventing all damage and slowly regenerating health. Stacks of... What? I fucking hate having to read tooltips while I'm getting DPS. Stacks of this effect can be removed by dashing through it on a sky scale. Okay. Thank you. Let's do that again. Up. So we dash through. And we dash through. No, that one didn't work for some reason. Maybe it was already open. Okay, so I think you can tell whether they're open or not based on, like... What's that like? Oh, there you go. He just closed. Yeah, so you just saw the animation. This is really... I kind of want a lower updraft as well. This is weird. So I got to, like, lose my height in the initial dash. And spin around. This could be quite interesting for Naos. This is good for me to learn, by the way, because... I'm pretty sure this mechanic comes up in Meta 2. There's like 1,000 things going on in Meta 2, and I generally... I've only done it a couple of times, by the way. When like release week was out, I did it a couple of times. I've played very little except what's been here on these videos, and I know this has been quite a long series at this point. But, you know, that's all been in the earlier maps. It's not been doing Meta 2 or anything. But I wouldn't be surprised if this comes back in map 3. So as far as like news and stuff with Guild Wars is concerned as well, I believe they've confirmed another balance patch is coming. And I just want to say, I think that's really cool and actually ahead of my expectations for what Guild Wars usually needs. You know, we had a minor balance patch addressing something in PvP. Just like this week. We had a more major one before that. Then we had the expansion launch stuff with the relics and the new weapons. Before that was an update to the boon patch, and then was the boon patch itself. And this is all just like around this quarter, right? It's not bad. This event's slightly too long, but maybe it's because it's scaled. But it's not bad actually. It's pretty regular stuff that's going on, and I think they've confirmed a major patch and a major balance patch, probably like coming out of the weapon stuff, and it's going to be mostly PvE orientated, of course. I think it's just like 2 weeks away or something. Is anyone going to speak now that we've done that? Or is this one of those like silent events that they use to pad areas that otherwise wouldn't have enough content? This NPC is moving suspiciously. Do you have dialogue? No? The actual ward soldier stares at you, but he does not flinch. Why am I trying to make him flinch? She was heavy breathing. You're safe now. Rest your mind. Okay, so we've learned about the demonic seal mechanic. That's nice. That's cool. You know, we've had sky scales in the game for years. They haven't done anything like that. That's a nice new little innovation. So yeah, like in terms of what I expect they'll do with the balance patch is they'll look at some of the totally egregious, insane shit at the moment. It's like Scourge Heaven as far as PvE is concerned right now. The numbers on Scourge are really, really high, and it's an extremely simple build to learn how to execute, how to learn how to rotate on. Pretty bog standard gear as well, so lots of people will have comfortable access to it, and it's got really high quality of life, you know. Like it's got a shit ton of range damage. It's so good. It's an insane build, and that's going to get curved. The devs have got a hell of a job. It's kind of a nightmare balance mode right now. Their idea, the weapon crossing thing, it's meant shit like, you know, everyone's like the same relic. Everyone, you know, all of the rev builds are like herald builds. Everyone's using the same thing. It's the same thing. And they got to find a way to carve niches out again now, you know, across the entire system as it already exists, which is probably a headache, and a headache not too dissimilar to just laying in some groundwork to create space for niches for more elite specs, I would say. But we'll see what they do.
SS demons!
Wild versus Wild, I'm not really sure what's going on. I think someone told me that people spam flock runes, which makes sense. That's basically pulse and AoE. It used to be pulse and AoE heal around you. Sorry, flock relics. Whenever you trigger a heal skill. But now it's barrier. I think the potency might be slightly higher as well. But now that it's barrier, I can see why that's pretty good for Wild versus Wild, because it, you know, you can't overheal now really with it. It's making everyone just that bit tankier. You can take squishy builds and they'll survive the crushes much better. To be honest, guys, do you want to hear something really newbie about me here? I can't remember anymore. Because I think this was a discussion back when POF came. No, I do know. I was going to say, like, let's say I have a shit ton of barrier and then someone else gives me a minor bit of barrier. Does it refresh the whole stack? But it doesn't refresh the whole stack. It definitely doesn't. But I had that in my head for a second. I was like, wow, that would be so good for Flock. When you get a ton of players proccing Flock constantly. Also, of course, Flock before was locking you into healing power and so on. And now you don't need to do that. You can do Flock on a, you know, a Scholar rune set. You can still do a lot of damage, but also you've got like this AoE support on you. I thought maybe Ceres was good as well for a while, but hey, who knows. So it looks like this Bastion is just super under attack here. Just major damage all around. It doesn't really look like there's many interactables. We'll search low first, and we'll search high second. There's a player there.
They're not taking this king. Hold the line!
Use Grimoire spells to weaken Cryptus. So this will be where that other event was. The recipe event. It's funny how the main quest is asking me to deal with rift incursions, and yet most of the generic events are rift incursions here, but they don't count.
Dismissed.
Okay, we managed to tag Silver there. useful just in case, you know, for the achievement where we want to do each event. So let's see what's through this door here. Spellcrafting workshop. Okay. So this is just where the event itself happened. So yeah, this is all pretty cool lore actually. I can't interact with any of them, but the event cycle is pretty quick. But if you look, you got the Tears of Antiquity, the Flame of the First Inferno, and when you interact with it, I think it like talks about Primordus, and it talks about like Mount Maelstrom, the Bones of the Eldest Mountain. So there are rocks on there, but it's a great visual there, isn't it? We've got the Collection of Last Breaths.
Every 7 casts. Is that an acceptable risk?
7's a very magical number. Makes sense.
Something's off here. Did I miss an element?
So these guys are just like chatting about this stuff, but it's so good, guys. Really, it is awesome. Ah, and here's a Gareth. Nice. Okay, so there is lore. So we can so let's just do a quick recap on the Gareth thing. This was a guy that attempted to invade the Wizard's Tower back in Guild Wars 1. It was a side quest, it was easily missed, and there's a quest to go and kill him, alright? So he dies. Later, you see a bunch of cultists, Varatan cultists, are where he was, and they were really interested in necromancy and stuff. Now here I see him in Guild Wars 2, and he's here as an undead. So naturally, the suggestion there is, oh my god, Varata reanimated this guy. Wow. That's so cool. But nobody said that to us. We've had no lore books actually saying that. Nothing is detailed it out in black and white. He's just a guy working with the wizards now. And it's kind of cool that he's working with them. So we've met him a few times. And now finally we can ask him a little bit about his origin. And we can do it from a Guild Wars 2 player's perspective as well, which is, well, what other like undead that still have sentience have we met? Well, the Awakened, right? So a Guild Wars 2 player is naturally going to ask that question, and that's what we can do. So he says, leave me alone, I'm busy. He's crouching at this shrine, by the way. I have no idea. That POI we got, the crystal pool, is actually below us or above us, so it's not actually... Is it above us? It must be. We're under a pool right now. That's very cool. Anyway, so I don't really get it, but he says, leave me alone, I'm busy. Is it true you're immortal?
What? Something wrong?
You're awakened, aren't you?
Something like that. Got cut down a few years after the searing. Mabon took pity on me. Gave me a choice. Serve his bastion and make up for my misdeeds. Or face Grenth himself. Wasn't a tough decision.
So there you go, voice acted, pretty good. And there you go, that was your extra little bit of info. I've probably built that up too much. I thought that was I thought I could like have text conversation there and there'd be some other options. So I love how he mentions I got cut down just after the searing. What ArenaNet are doing there is that's their way of saying, hey, the Guild Wars 1 character killed this guy, right? The Guild Wars 1 character is an Ascalonian that lived through the searing and, you know, was kind of their whole motivation and stuff. And so it's, I like the line. But if I'm going to get really nitpicky, if I really want my mind to be blown by the writing here, I don't think Galrath mentions the searing. I might be wrong about this, but isn't Galrath a Crichton? We find he's in association with Crichton forces. It's the Lion Guard of the olden days, I think, that told us to go deal with him. He wasn't a refugee with us. Galrath was a Crichton. So, now, 260 years after his death, what's he going to be thinking about? The Ascalonian searing? Well, hold on, what about all the shit that happened in his place after the loss of his royal family line, or... Do you know what? There were two big magical catastrophes that happened there. One was the searing, but maybe the more substantive one is the cataclysm, which happened right around the same time. The Chart invade Kryta, they invade Or, they invade Ascalon. They invade Ascalon with the searing. They invade Or, and fucking Vizir Bron blows the whole place up, you know? I feel like the Cataclysm is the big thing that they would talk. The entire continent being submerged. I mean, the searing's pretty bad. Crystals landing on the... It was bad, right? Don't get me wrong, the wall breaks. But this is insane. Surely that's the event of the age. Surely if we're really living as Tyrians, and we're thinking about what Tyrians would talk about, and how Tyrians would reflect on the lives, and one from Kreiter at that, who is equally unassociated with either of them, as far as the human populations didn't like each other goes, and all that kind of stuff, surely he would talk about this, or he'd say shortly after the White Mantle came to power, right? That would be a good way of describing it, that a Guild Wars 2 player would still really get it, especially since they would have gone through Season 3. So I don't know, I think I would have tweaked that a little bit or whatever, but there you go. Sorry to bother you. We also get this guy, Maya. I don't know who this is. Hunter of Mystic Threats. Maya is mourning in science. Maya, do you think you could tell me a bit about Mabon? I'll try. Wait, who are you? Just say whatever you're feeling, thank you.
I'm sorry. He
Get over here. Need some help making spells.
When I was in the Dominion, I'm sorry. I'm not ready to... He can't be.
Oh my god, what is this? Learn more about Mabon's past and his impact on the Astral World. You know what? I came here before then. But didn't speak to this guy. Oh, Gareth's left. What did Gareth say? Okay, well, look. Mabon saved him from the Dominion. I'm sorry, I'm not ready. He can't be. I don't know what to make of that. That's crazy. That's all new for me. Let's see what Gareth's saying over here. This must be the ritual. We're crafting spells for the battle. So before I proc this, I guess just to finish the Tengu thing off, I have no idea, guys. I really have no idea. I don't know. I guess we'll just slowly work on that achievement and see what comes of it. Right, so we're crafting spells for the battle ahead. If you've got time to stand here talking, you've got time to bind some elements. What do I do? To craft spells for the Grimoire of the Arcane, pick a table, gather the elements, and bind them in the tuning crystal. Craft as many as you can and try not to die. Sure, I'll lend a hand.
Check the grimoire and gather the proper elements. Then bind them with the tuning crystal. Pay attention to the details. You get one of these wrong, well, that's on you. Now get to it.
Okay, so, you know, the timing on all this worked out really well for us, didn't it? We get into the room and the event's not going on, we get time to speak to Gareth, and then the event starts. Okay, so, go to the Grimoire, we need our recipe list. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast the Core of Earth. So we need to harness the Earth itself to crush our enemies. It'd be nice if the follow-up event, the generic attack we just did, had a bunch of crazy magical effects going on, but I didn't really see any. Okay, so for this, we need the Tears of Antiquity. And so the twist on this one is it's easier to know where to go, but you have to like play a mini game to collect each thing. So there we had to, you know, I don't even know how to describe that mechanic. We've seen it a bunch of times, obviously. And then I guess I'm drowning as I collect it. So that's the Tears of the Antiquity. Let's head over to the Flame of the First Inferno. Why do I think Mount Maelstrom was referenced in this? Because it's clearly not doing anything. Do I have a wand out? That's cool, I do. I have a very cute little wand. This one will burn us as we move with it, but won't slow us down. Let's deposit that. And then the Bones of the Eldest Mountain. I guess we'll move slow with the bones. It's just carrying some big ass rocks. And that might be why they positioned it right next to this entry point. Oh no, I fucked it up! Ow, that was a lot of damage. Wow. Basic button pressing, guys. Okay.
Acceptable.
Okay, good. So there you go, I prepared a spell. And it looks like I'm going to have to prepare quite a few here. So the Grimoire of the Arcane. Cool down primordial waters, creating a torrent to drown your foes. So we need the Tears of Antiquity. I don't know if we need it in this order, by the way. Well, maybe I could have just done the bones there since I was standing already. Oh my god, I fucked it up again. What the hell? It's too early, guys. That's what I'm going to blame. Oh no, it stops me regenerating while I'm locked in as well. That's really good, because now that means I can actually die. I can be punished.
5-to-1 ratio. This stuff is so volatile.
Oh, I'm like slidey. It's not just that I move slow, it's that I'm
The cryptids
slidey.
are going to hate that grimoire.
Okay. Tears of Antiquity, bones. Yeah, that didn't actually slow me down that much, did it? And then the collection of last... Wait. Oh, there's multiple bones. Yeah, I thought earlier, I was like, I didn't go all the way around the room. How comes it's repeating? And I guess it's because it repeats. Collection of last breaths. Well, we're going to be in this for a while, guys. This should be like 3 spells if I'm soloing it. Oh, wow, that's cool. Oh, it launches me and floats me back down. Okay, next. We have the Core of Fire. Invoke the power of ancient fire to tear your foes asunder with searing flames. You know, especially in Guild Wars, but in any game, anywhere I ever read Searing Flames, it always makes me think of the GW1 spell. It's a pretty common phrase, right? But I love that spell. My first Paragon build, when I started playing Nightfall, was I would use Searing Flames on a Paragon. Which was really silly because, you know, you're a martial character, you're not a caster, you have barely any energy regeneration. But I did it because Paragon had this signet. If a signet gives you energy, it's really good for energy management because signets themselves don't cost any energy. And it was just a signet that meant, oh, there we go. If they're burning, get a bunch of energy. So my idea was, and clearly that was meant to just combo with Anthem of Flames or whatever, but I wanted to use it with Searing Flames, and that was my build.
Something's off here. These could be
Missing element.
Cautionary Signet, I think it was. And then they also had... what else did I have on there? I think I had They're on Fire as well, which meant that while enemies were burning, we all took damage reduction. You see? That was the plan. Okay, let's follow these guys and actually see what happens.
I smelled something foul in the air. Let's give them a healthy dose of magic. See how much they like it.
Oh, here you go. Oh, we did get special magic. It was the special action. So, Grimoire spells tested. Gareth leaves in 10 minutes. There's a bunch of wounded back there as well, and reparations I need to do. Did I do that one already? I think I did. What does Gareth say as regular dialogue during this event as he ran off? Oh my god, he's out there in the mix. Do you want to speak, bro? He doesn't want to speak. Maybe I can kill everything near him so he breaks. Hammerelli looks fun. Yeah, I've ended up playing loads of it. I did DD for a few episodes. To be honest, it's just because I'm feeling supremely uncreative about Ellie playstyles in PvE at the moment. This is strong and very, like, I don't really have to think because I've got a lot of muscle memory for this at the moment. So, that's really it. I mean, this has not been a very good series for buildcraft and stuff, I must be honest. Okay, let's test one more.
The leader has reinforced armor. Use your magic to bust it open.
Okay, again, I think this is another meta mechanic. I guess the Bastion of Strength really is the one that's teaching us a bunch of this stuff. I want to do another normal rift, because I'm sure Zodja will start speaking to us in a second if we do that. Where's their boss? Yeah, so you see how he had a shield icon? It looks like the armor repair icon.
Power on the leader, or we'll never get the results we need here.
Well, I did, I think, unless there's another leader over there. Let's just finish these off real quick. No rest for the Cryptus.
These will definitely get the attention of the Cryptus on the front lines. Dismissed.
And he's going to teleport back. Okay, so now we're out. But let's go back into the previous chamber, I guess. Let's build some barricades and some turrets, I guess. This guy's thirsty. There's a box of hammers there. Oh, this is going to be the thing. I'm not going to get this in time, am I? Go, 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 because that guy's repairing it. I need to tag the event. No! No! Fuck! Oh. I guess the event's still going on. Oh, and now it's just swapped to turrets remaining. That's the one we already did. So when do all these get broken then? The wizard's turrets look pretty interesting. Take control? Oh my god, I thought I was first person there. With the wizard turret. Interesting, they have like Cryptis turrets and wizard turrets in the expansion. I didn't really think about that. There you go, Astral Ward's control over the camp. Should we use one of these turrets and see how good they are? I mean, it doesn't have a line of sight. Or maybe it does. Is it ground targeted? Is it just character target? Holy shit, I'm gonna get nuked standing here. It does no damage. It did like 700 damage. No crit, no condies, nothing. Oh my god. And we're back to Dagger here apparently because I weapon swapped while I was trying to spam the buttons on the thing. Didn't we realise on fresh air as well? We did realise that, yeah.
Stand tall, you lot!
Should just put on Bolt to the Heart, to be honest, if we're going to play that hammer build. It's a lot better.
You picked the wrong kid!
Oh my god, the barriers are actually kind of annoying. And so is the stuff sieging me, actually. Can we break them? Oh, we can. Check it out. A Cryptis Treb. Do you know what goes through my head when I see a Cryptis Treb? I'm like, were they going to add a new... Was there going to be a World vs. World update in this at some point? You know, I'm still very much in favour of a map 3 for World vs. World. And do you know what might be cool, guys? I've always thought of it as like an ocean map. Not that, listen, theme. Okay, I'm just talking about a theme. I'm not saying fill it with underwater content, right? I'm just saying, if we have a jungle theme, we have a desert theme, we have an alpine theme. And by the way, I do believe we have a jungle theme because the desert basically feels like jungle in certain areas. I don't know, maybe you have a jungle theme map.
Preliminary signs of multiple rift anomalies. Possible equipment
It's
malfunction.
the meta again. So we mute, which sucks because this is going to overlap a little bit. But yeah, what if the third map is just Naos? What if that's a World vs. World battlefield? I mean, actually, because it's already Mist lore, that might get really complicated and confusing and weird. I don't know, maybe that's a bad idea. It's interesting they made Cryptis Trebs. What other World vs. World update could this be motivated around? Obviously just like something better than a guild treb. Maybe they start... Here's how you monetize World vs. World players. You sell siege skins, right? As long as it's still identifiably a treb, it does the same thing, but now you know. You can sell different skins. I'm gonna sneeze. Bless me. Sorry, I tried to get my mic as far away as possible before I sneezed. An underwater, like, dome world. Oh, that's a really cool idea. When I was thinking, like, a water theme, I was... I guess because I'm just so desperate for it, I was thinking of, like, a kind of a beaches and small disconnected islands or something, but... You know, it's not all about the water in between them or something. But, yeah, underwater themed, and it's like a dome world. That's very cool. You know, when I think about stuff like this, the game it always makes me think back to is Ark. And I know Ark isn't much like World vs. World in a lot of ways, but if you think of the Ark Survival Evolved maps as kind of like PvP battlegrounds, and each one has a different theme, you know, there's like a big underground themed one in Aberration, there's a desert one in Scorched Earth, there's your generic one, the island that you started out with, and then yeah, like their later ones started getting really weird. You know, there's just certain games out there, if I was a dev, right, there's just certain games out there that I look at and I'm like, this is really fucking good. Like, this is a genre all on its own if it wants to be. Now, this studio has proved that it can work, but they flubbed the implementation. Let's just make a better Ark. That's genuinely what goes through my head. Just handle the post-release updates, the jank, all that kind of shit better. That will print money. That is such a cool, exciting thing, you know. I think of that indie horror game that I go back to basically every Halloween now in VR. Phasmophobia. I don't know if you guys have played it. It's genuinely really scary, really fun with friends. But, you know, it's like a janky indie game. I think, you know, if you're like a AA studio or something, or even more, imagine a properly funded Phasmophobia. You know, there's just certain games like that. It's like, my God, look at the potential in this fucking game. Look at this genre. Look at this. I was so sure as well, people would, with Phasmophobia in particular, that people would realise there's something there. But, you know, it's been a couple of years now and nothing really. There's been other indie attempts to spoof its success, to ape its success, but there's been nothing like on that higher level, you know. Alright, I'm going to unmute the dialogue now. Let's go look at this vista in this room, which we had missed previously. And this is where we were crafting spells. And that's where Galrath is hiding. Subnautica. Well, I think Subnautica is an example of one that did nail the execution so well. I don't see any space for Subnautica. I don't see someone with a bunch of money able to just say, okay, look, it's already figured it out. Just do it professionally, right? Like, that's essentially what I'm saying. You know, it's kind of like what Blizzard did with Hearthstone, right? Like, they clearly saw that video trading card games could be really good. They saw that the MTG, you know, PC clients and stuff were dog shit. They knew how to make a good client. They knew how to make it pretty and fun and flow well and bug-free. They had professionals and they had money. So they did it and created, like, this phenomenon, you know? Like, I guess that's how the whole goddamn industry's worked for years now, I suppose. Alright, where do we go now? I see it a lot with horror games, actually. Another horror game I quite liked, but is still slightly too indie and slightly too jank, but is a really cool format for a game, is Mortuary Assistant. I don't know if you guys have ever played Mortuary Assistant, but it's like busy work plus horror. That's the genre, okay? You're at work, you've got a bunch of bullshit to do. You know, it's like Papers, Please, okay? Papers, Please, though, is an example. They executed Papers, Please so perfectly, there's nothing better to be done. But if you guys know the game Papers, Please, right, where it takes fucking stress from work and gamifies it, makes it a video game, alright? Mortuary Assistant does that, but puts it in the horror genre, and it's so good. But again, it's just slightly indie. And it's like, man, this on another scale could work, you know? It really could work. Okay, so what do we got here? This is Mabon's tower. Someone was saying something in the YouTube comments about, like, how Mabon doesn't have a tower here or something. But he does. I can't actually go inside that. What do I think of Soma and Dead Space? They're both executed extremely well. I don't think of indie jank when I think of either of those. Dead Space actually is an example of a franchise that got too big. And too designed by committee, and too much money, and too just fucking... I don't know. I know that people really like how the lore and stuff goes with, like, the moon-sized zombies and stuff. But I don't know. I think Dead Space, you know, clearly had a lot of production value. And Soma too. Soma's one of the best games ever made, as far as I'm concerned. And you can watch me playing it with Matt. I loved that game. That was art, you know. I'm such a pretentious wanker, to be honest. But I do genuinely think, is this art? And you get my highest respect if you genuinely do something interesting or new or thought-provoking. And I think of Soma on the same level as I think of... Because they utilise the medium so well for it as well, on the same level as Bioshock 1 with the Would You Kindly stuff. Like, that was just so clever. The way you look at something that's happening in gaming, you take it for granted, because that's the platform you're on. This kind of media in a video game, you just do what people say. You just walk along the corridor, because what the fuck else are you going to do? So you just take... nobody scrutinises that. And then you abuse the fact that nobody scrutinises that to have an amazing twist and blow people's minds. Like, that's genius. That's art. That's really, really, really good stuff. And Soma's a lot like that to me. Sorry, if... I just know there's some poor fucker out there that's not played any of the games I've just mentioned in the past little while, and they have no clue what the shit I'm talking about. Talk about the Giganticus Lepicus, WP. Okay. Hold on, what is this? Interact. Oh, I can shoot the targets. Oh, it's a new style for these. Oh, that is cool. Oh my god, they've actually updated this and they've got some new types. Oh, and I've got to do it in a short amount of time. I'm playing Kana, Bridge of Spirits at the moment, and they have little trials like this as well. But they have blue targets and they also have yellow targets, and the yellow targets, when you hit them, they explode and DPS everything around them. You only know Papers, Please. All those games. Papers, Please is the one that you know. That's great. Papers, Please is excellent. Everyone should play that fucking game. Everyone should. If you've ever done any kind of like menial labor job, right? Whether that's working in a kitchen or whatever, right? Like something where there's a high volume of people coming through and you've got to juggle a lot of balls, right? Papers, Please is such a good simulation of that. And Mortuary Assistant also. So we get another vista. I'm trying to do this intelligently here. I can't believe we've almost explored the whole goddamn place. Let's come down this road here and get that POI, and then we'll check the northernmost expanse of this place. What I want to do though as well is like, surely we want to scan all of these cliffs and things. Like, what do you think ArenaNet have done with these cliffs? Do you think they've got... Apparently getting stuck in one of these on a sky scale is pure hell. It's not taking me the way I want to go. I said I wanted to go over here and then here, and it's taking me over here. Holy shit. Alright, we'll do it differently then. We're going to land here. Between this beautiful copse. This is actually a lovely area, isn't it? This is the Circle of Rituals. Clearly an event place. There's a Cryptis Blaster there. Ow, there's lots of them. Herbs. Pronounced with the H, can I just say, to my American cousins. WP, have you played BG3? I have, yeah. And I really enjoyed the game. I kept flicking between a Necromancer and a Cleric most of the way through the game. And my main companion was Lazael, who I ended up... who's really nasty, to be honest, but I ended up romancing her, because, you know, someone comes to you in the middle of the night offering you a lay. You're going to say yes. And then I thought we were just, like, casually hooking up. So then I hooked up with a devil, and then she dumped me. And then I quit. Actually, that's a simplified version of events, but that's quite close to what happened. Yeah, my Necromancer ended up super OP. I'm going to turn this way down, because it's blowing my ears off, and I'm sure it's blowing yours. Okay, here's the road. The incarnation of terror.
Incursions imminent. Rift warnings everywhere. Astral Ward.
You know, maybe today was the day that I stop exploring bastions and I do the meta. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't matter, because we know what's going to happen on the next part. I'm going to do the last bastions, and it's going to proc during it. So, my current plan is, I'm thinking we will get these last two rifts. I mean, let's scan for one now. You never know. If it's in a place we've already explored, I'm happy to go back and get it. It's hard to see what's going on there, though. This is Might's Brink Thicket. We'll do the bastions, we'll do the meta, and then we'll end the story. And then we're in post-game, at which point I'll probably retitle the episodes so that people know that it's, you know, something fresh is happening. And then, and we'll clear out the post-game stuff, however long that is or whatever that is. I know that there's an achievement where you collect tarot cards, and I like I say on the previous part, tarot cards are so cool. Like, for this MMO thing that I'm writing about, I was like, what are cool collectibles? What's really cool things to, like, find and grab around the world? And, you know, I used to play, like, old PS1, like, Disney movie games, you know, those would be, like, some of the collectibles you'd get. Or, like, you know, like in Harry Potter games, getting, like, chocolate frog cards and stuff. I don't know, I like getting cards, and I think tarot cards have that extra level of, like, certain mysticism that make them really fun as collectibles. So I don't really know what's going on there, guys, as well. I assume another event. But I see nothing to press F on. So there you go. That's the Bastion of Strength, I guess. I don't know. I mean, what about that pool? There's a pool high up that I dinged the POI, but we didn't actually go to it. That's the training grounds. The spellcrafting workshop. The circle of rituals. The cryptist front line. The crystal pool. Let's at least go to the crystal pool because there might be something there. But the music's really good. It's not good when it's out of context. You know, you've got to be in the fight and experiencing the music. You know, if I'm in a field with a deer and, like, watching a butterfly flying around, I don't need epic, end-of-the-world rift incursion music, you know? It's not appropriate. It shouldn't be map-wide. And nor should the dialogue, I think, be getting shouted map-wide. Look, the incumbent player base now, they're savvy enough to know what the fuck a meta is and to look at the top right and see a meta's happening. They don't need all that dialogue. It's important to have that in vanilla. It's important to have that in core. But these maps, is it so important? I don't think so. The crystal pool. Maybe it wasn't on top. Because I'm beginning to believe it's not a pool at all. Was there like a tiny little like basin or well? Oh no, here you go. There is a pool. We've got some fish. Oh my god, those greater chests, they take quite a few of them, don't they? Get a bunch of coins, which I'm still not really sure how enthusiastic I am about getting. Let's fish something up, shall we? What is it? It's night time right now. Night time, we want fish eggs at the spire. Oh, or just any fish. Okay, yeah, we can get something here. Let's try and fish up a strength fish. Which would be super appropriate since we're at the Bastion of Strength. You need the coins for the new legendary armor, plus you get map currency now from big chests. Okay. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, by the way, I'll do my best to actually look at chat a little bit more. Anyone got a topic on their mind? Oh my god, come on. It's because I don't have food on. This has aggravated me every single time I've wanted to go fishing in this expansion. Let's just do any old food. We could pop one of our metabolic primers, actually. Yeah, let's do that. I'm deadly serious. Let's do that. And then let's have the... No, I want stew. It's like fish stew or something. Fish stew. There you go. Bowl of fish stew. I think there's some better stuff. In one of the recent festivals, I unlocked a some recipe, I think, for a pot or something you can put down. But there you go. All right. So now for the next 12 hours, we'll have plenty of fishing strength, like loads, because we get fishing on a fuel tank and we get the increased potency. So now, it's still a yellow hook though. Recommended fishing power 700. And mine's only 550. Oh, I bet I don't have a bait on. Hold on. One more. No, I do. I have a lure. Recommended... Wow. Oh, okay. So they want me to be in a fishing party for this. They want me to be with a bunch of other people. Damn. I mean, this is probably the way it should be. An end game location. All buffs, you get to yellow. If you want to be at green, then engage with the fishing party mechanic, right? That's probably what's going on. Or, you know, fish a lot up in a row. I mean, that sounds okay, except for the fact there aren't actually many fish in the collection in the first place. I don't know if there's anything new from the loot tables here. I cannot believe I've increased my strength fishing, and it's become harder. There we go. There's the strength fish. First one. We'll fill out the hole though. Talking about good games, have I played Hellblade? No, I haven't. I don't know what that is at all. Hellblade? For some reason when you say that, I'm going to be totally wrong here, but that makes me think of that. What was that, like, indie game, but unbelievably good photorealistic, gorgeous animations game? Senua, I think it was called, or something? You just hit 2,000 unusual coins. Jesus. Wait, the skiff bonus? Oh, yeah, you mean the fishing party bonus, yeah. I could be on a skiff and I would be getting a stack every time here, but we're only going to get 3 fish out of this hole anyway. Here, fishy, 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 fishy. Oh, he's so fast. He's so strong. Just slowly wearing him down. Okay. Whew. There's a moonfin striker. Right, there you go. That's the crystal pool. Alright, now, I'm a little bit confused about a POI that's on the edge of my screen. But I think, yeah, it is. It's in the central spire, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, let's see what this final bastion is here. Senua's Sacrifice. Yeah, that's the game. That's not the Hellblade game, though, is it? So you tell me Hellblade's a good game, have I played it, but you don't say anything else. I mean, what is it? We are now at the Bastion of Balance. There you go. See, and we get our little Blish thing. So this is Thaumaturgy Park, and it's under attack, and the skies are looking grim. And it is just nighttime. It's not because it's dusk or dawn or whatever. That's interesting, because I guess it would always look kind of nighttime-ish when we're this high up. Is that right? Maybe that's not right. But then they can use the incursions to colour it anyway. Oh, it is the same game. Oh, it's called Hellblade Senua. Yeah, somewhere in the back of my mind I thought, is that the same game? I guess I was right. Okay, so the camp on this one's below. I remember this area being very tricky. There were a lot of weird things going on with it. Alright, so we go. The Bastion of Balance. Healer Chris here. Apologies, Wayfinder. We're a bit distracted with the whole Anka debate. The Anka debate? Yes, her antics in the mists. Oh, of course, right, yeah. She was in the mists with the Aether Blades and she started, like, killing copies of herself and so on. Her antics in the mist demonstrated a complete disregard for morals and ethics. We debated whether to get involved, but is Gar... look at this. It's another... I mean, if you're ArenaNet, what else can you do? What else can you do except just point out every fucking time mist incursion stories have already happened and own it? I mean, that's all they can do. So, we debated whether to get involved, but Isgarin and Lear decided against it. At least we get a little bit of colour here that it was specifically those two. So, after what she did, seems irresponsible. And look, even the commander can say that. I don't disagree, says Chris. There was a caveat that we'd intervene should she find her way into Isgarin's bank of fractals, but she never located them. The massacre was limited to those that had formed naturally. Wow, so you're only going to get involved as soon as it affects you. Wow. You describe it as a massacre. I knew it was bad, but you've no idea, Wayfinder. The blood left in their wake. Horrid. We should have stopped her, but I understand why we didn't, I suppose. What was the reasoning? Suwon was nearing death. None of us knew what that would look like. An all-out chase through the mist would have taken too much power and too many bodies. We needed to stay put. I don't believe that. I don't buy that. I mean, how powerful? They're just Aether Blades. It's just a crew of Aether Blades, renegade Aether Blades, fucking about in the mists. You're like a 1,000-year-long society embroiled in a war against demons. What? And you can't just go deal with that with like a strike team? Sorry, I never got the impression that like Anka and her crew were like godlike, you know, things worthy of scaring these people. The way I'm going to take this is not a dodgy reasoning, because I'm going to say this is dodgy reasoning because it's actually covering up for the fact that these guys are unethical bastards that didn't do enough. Okay, that's what I'm going to say this is, because I don't buy that reason. I bet that was hard to navigate. If I was Blish right now, I would say bullshit. But okay, I bet that was hard to navigate. Very. And while I know we'd be in far worse shape now had we helped, I still wish we'd intervened. Would you, really? No, you're good people. See, when they make the commander... When they write it like this, it makes me think I'm not allowed to think the other way. Actually, that is a good reason. You know, like it or lump it. I don't know. Alright, oh, good. Oh, but we can only do one a day. I see how this is working now. Okay. That's how I get the choice. Oh, there's dialogue. No, dialogue.
No. But based on some of the samples we've managed to collect, I doubt that's the case.
Circumstances like these make me wish I had access to Ratasum's extensive archives on biological development.
Is Gara knew every danger to Tyria? Should we? Nah. Yeah, exactly. Venusian Sickness in chat says, ArenaNet knew of this plot in End of Dragons, right? Why not tease them? Well, no, not necessarily, man. Not necessarily. Like, the order would have been End of Dragons got made fully. And things are pretty set in stone and concrete. And then I think probably after that, and I hate that this is the case, because it shouldn't be the case. They should have a really good sense of where they're going next long before this. But I feel like they were like, okay, now what do we do? And then they're like, but now that, because there's the whole format shift as well. Now, though, they probably do have a good idea. You know, in Guild Wars 1, you would have, in Prophecies, there was a hint about factions. And then in Factions, there was a hint about Nightfall. And then in Nightfall, there's a hint about... And you could say, look, they used to be able to do it. But, you know... They were very small little hints. They were tiny little... And Guild Wars 2 surely has been doing that as well. In terms of, like, properly weaving all the stories together and stuff, Guild Wars has just always sucked it, I'm afraid to say. The one time that Guild Wars 2... Even Guild Wars 1, really. The transition between Guild Wars 1 and 2 was excellent. The Movement of the World, the Eye of the North expansion, that was clearly all building up, and that was good. But as far as Guild Wars 2 is concerned, Core Tyria didn't know what Season 1 was going to be. Season 1, when it started, didn't know what Season 2 was going to be. Season 2, and here's where it gets good. Season 2 definitely knew what Heart of Thorns was going to be, and that, I would say, was a strong area of storytelling. Season 2 into Heart of Thorns. Heart of Thorns dropped the ball on a lot of things, don't get me wrong, but it was that era you could feel was building and was working towards something. Season 3... Season 3, I don't know. I think they fucked up because they were making Path of Fire at the same time with Season 3. They were making Path of Fire. They knew we were going to the desert. They put out they created all this content while, you know, making Bloodstone Fen and Lake Doric and Bitterfrost. And yet, instead of being like this really cool build-up type situation, like these two maps were into this stuff, it was kind of just an all-over-the-place world tour. You know, they were trying something, I guess, in Season 3. It didn't really work that well, I don't think. I think Season 3's a mess. It's too much story for too little time, blah, 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 blah. And it was a bit all over the place, frankly. Like, Bitterfrost probably should not have been in there. Nor should any of the Prime Order shit. And then they could have focused purely on a Massart kind of thing, maybe. I don't know, Lake Doric, do Lake Regent as well. Stuff like that. And anyway, even if they did that, I don't really see how that builds to Balthazar particularly well. But, well, it does if the Lazarus revelation and stuff is a thing. But anyway, Season 4... Did Season 4 know what the Icebridge Saga was going to be? Absolutely fucking not. No way. Weirdly enough, the back half of the Icebridge Saga did know what End of Dragons was going to be, but that was so rushed and so thin, there was no time to play off of it. So look, Guild Wars just hasn't been good at this stuff. It's just not. I'm afraid to say it, and you just got to accept that. Again, I spent most of the start of this episode talking about FF14. That's the strength of FF14, you know. FF14 is really cliche. Its delivery of the story is terrible. It's really mediocre for long periods of time. It's properly shit, right? But everything flows together really well, and it knows where it's going at all times. And so it's a better crafted story. That's just how it comes out in the end.
I joined the Astral War to protect my family. There wasn't anything I could do in that village. But if we die here, will it have been for nothing? At least I would have had one more slice of Dad's pie.
I can't speak to the joy of pie. Having also left my home to find Ventari, or his people rather, I knew what I was abandoning. My mate, my family. I didn't find Ventari, but I did find this place. And even if fate is not on our side, the things I've learned about Tyria here are irreplaceable. The allies I've made are just the same.
Defend the spire! Sky
Jesus
scales!
Christ.
Take to the...
Yeah, I've been very curious about the centaurs that came here. To put that conversation in more, like, normal terms here, by the way, as well. Like, okay, so, like, put something concrete on it. You are releasing End of Dragons, and you've got the Anka stuff. Maybe super late after End of Dragons was made. Well, like, these Giala patches knew where they were going. Sorry, this one map here. The Giala stuff knew where they were going. So maybe in Giala they can slip some clues in. And you see, that's exactly what they were doing. They did demon stuff. It was kind of like a bit of a segue in. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was just two little patches, really. Well, one big patch, one smaller patch. Now... maybe we will see the new format thing. There's an expansion every year, like clockwork. Another expansion. Let's go, boys. Another expansion, another expansion. With that, they maybe can do more of this interconnectedness. We don't know. Right now, Secrets of the Obscure is going to end pretty clearly, like, in the middle of the story. So we get the 3 patches. Secrets of the Obscure may fold, you know, this stuff about demons and myths and stuff may be a huge influence on the next story, and we might find that they built something really good. It's a weird thing with Guild Wars as well, where superficially Guild Wars always was on the correct path. Guild Wars always did have a good long-term story. Guild Wars 2 was good at, like, building one big idea, because that idea was the Elder Dragons. Superficially, you can say that, and it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. But not really, because each chapter was so disconnected, and, like, the characters and the bridges and things we built along the way tended to not have enough impact crossing those bridges, except Aurene in the second half of it all. And there's just something missing. And I think the fact that ArenaNet themselves lost enthusiasm for the goddamn thing, and just chose to push through to EOD, I think that says it all, really. Like, they have their long-term story, and the only conclusion I can come to is they didn't really care that much about telling it anymore, because they just wanted to get it done. And even to this day, there are quotes of them saying, oh, you know, it was always very limiting having to tell a story about Elder Dragons. Fuck off! It's not limiting having to tell a story about Elder Dragons, right? There's lots that you can do. Just create interesting subordinates. That's it. That's it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so let's continue on before I get too ranty. I did just shout "fuck off." All right, Harmony Green. It doesn't look very harmonious here. You can see that the meta right now, the enemy we're fighting is Norris. Eyes of the Abyss. Bastion of Balance. No wonder I forgot it. Alright, here we go. This is the cutscene at the end here. I assume this was Waiting Sorrow's Bastion, so this might have some really cool lore tidbits or hidden things about Waiting Sorrow here. You agree it's a shame too, because on paper the Guild Wars 2 setting's way more inspired than 14? That's a really hard one for me. I don't know, because, I mean, it's just apples to oranges there, really, isn't it? They're just fantasy settings. Maybe you can do some kind of an analysis of the amount of depth that there is to each. And to be fair, I mean, I was reading the Eorzea Encyclopedia last night in bed. Just trying to remember all the shit I forgot. And, you know, the stuff about, like, Midgardsormr came there with his 7 dragons, and, like, one of them was Bahamut, and Bahamut got killed, and they resummoned him as a primal, but they lost control, and then he got captured in a moon, and then from the moon he could control the power of the sun from the Allagans, and then he escaped, and then there was the Battle of Cartano, and you know, all of that stuff, and Shiva had sex with a dragon, and like that's just like the dragon stuff, you know. And then there's all the things about like the Ascians, and 2 of them merged, and there's in terms of like just raw number of fucking things going on there. And you know, you've got like 7 calamities, and you've got to talk about every single one of them. There's like, you know, there's the war between the white mages of Amdapor and the black mages of Makak and the Tombaries of Nin, and you know, that's just one. It's a lot. As someone unfamiliar with all the stuff on that side, largely unfamiliar, it feels like it's a huge bomb of stuff. With Guild Wars, because I'm so familiar with it, I tend to feel like there's less. I'm like, well, you know, what do you want to talk about? You want to just talk about Ascalon? To my mind, it's so quick and easy to just explain it, but it's probably just familiarity with the subject. So, like, I don't think I could ever do that in that analysis. I remember when I was in the middle of the FF14 playthrough, right, when we were, like, right near the end, we would like, I would jokingly say to chat like, quiz me on this, quiz me on that, or whatever, and people would, and I'd generally have the answers for some stuff, and I, as a joke, said, hey guys, how would you rate my like lore understanding? You know, if my Guild Wars lore understanding is like an A, by the way, because there are definitely huge gaps that are appearing in my brain, and I'm definitely slipping with it. But if it was an A, what's my Final Fantasy? And everyone's like, oh yeah, you're definitely a B. You're definitely, maybe you're an A as well. And it blew my mind because I was like, I feel like I'm like an E or a D there. Like, there's so much to fucking know about that place. And it tends to be, the more stuff you don't know, for me, the more stuff I don't know about a setting, but I get the vibe that it's there, the more captivating it is, you know? Like, I feel like once all the doors are closed because you've opened them already, once you've gone through all the doors, once you've explored the whole place, the setting loses some of its luster. The only thing that remains are the mysteries. And then the mysteries are fun to think about for a while, but then you end up feeling bitter about the mysteries, you know? And that's like the game the writers have got to play. Like in Encyclopedia Eorzea last night, I was reading about like that Unkalahide character, like some guy from one of the other fragmented worlds that like maybe has the echo, but we don't know, and he's just like sitting there in Mordona. And do you guys know what I'm talking about? The kid in like the white robe or something? I can't really remember. Like, I remember that was a cool mystery, but was that paid off in the end and stuff? Like, oh my god. It was a matter of months ago, I'll say that, you know, 18 months ago, and yeah, the amount of it that's just fallen out of my brain. Jesus Christ. Right, so far I've done a terrible job at the Bastion of Balance. It seems to me that most of these grassy areas have very little going on. I would actually say at this point, if the devs do put a random lore book in one of these areas, it's a complete troll. Because, like, holy shit. If I ever find one, it's just going to ruin the map for me, because I'm now going to think I need to go through all of them. So, you know, I think the wiki is, sad to say, the way to go about this, actually. Just go on the wiki and just read through each interactable after it's been compiled. There you go, Unkalahide. It blows my mind that I can talk about random, like, very obscure, specific shit about random-ass games, and someone in chat will know what's going on. Hi everyone, a kind reminder not to ecto gamble. I just got 200 gold and can no longer waypoint. Is that true, or is that just like a joke? I have to say, you're a complete fool if you ecto gamble down to the last penny. How would you even do that? Because there's a certain threshold that the least amount you can gamble is... Like, that can't be true. It's waypointed me because the meta's ended. So now we have to go back, and now I don't really know where I was. Yeah, I have no idea how bad the new player experience here would be. You sort of assume they give newbies an easy way to get the skyscraper at the sky. I think the new player experience for Guild Wars is probably really strong. It's such a clean game that requires so little configuration. All the story that is there is presented extremely well. So much of it is voiced. So much of it is funny and superficially and immediately entertaining. And it has a great captivating setting and idea with the Elder Dragon threat at the start. I mean, we're now in a shitty position where any conversation anyone has about Guild Wars is going to be, oh, they didn't do the Elder Dragon story that well, they just rushed through it in the end. I mean, am I just a complete twat for thinking that? Maybe the vast majority of people think it was all amazing and it does have really good word of mouth. But I feel like that's the problem. There were certainly these higher levels of things that were going on with Guild Wars that caused it not to fall out of favour in terms of like word of mouth, you know. It didn't support its raid scene well enough, so it never got that high-end reputation. It didn't support its PvP scene well enough, so it didn't get the competitive reputation. It didn't support... I mean, and so then you got a question of, like, did it do the lore and stuff? And it clearly that's what they... Why am I getting waypointed? Why has that happened twice now? They did focus on story and lore, as opposed to dungeons and raids and all that kind of stuff. They focused on open world. And they did have a very, very good open world. I don't know. Guild Wars is just... It's tricky because of some of the fundamentals about like the rat race and gear grind and gearing and leveling and stuff. Did the meta end teleporting you back? That's what I just said 2 seconds ago. Were you not here? But it did it twice in a row, so... What's the question there? I don't know. I don't want to keep getting into these massive, heady, vague, flimsy discussions about Guild Wars' success or lack of success. I was pretty sad though, again, because the same thing last night when I was on Reddit and I was reading about the add-on stuff. There also happened to be a thread which was Google Trends. It was from like a few months ago when Endwalker came out. And someone was like, look at Final Fantasy's Google Trends. And so and I've done this with Guild Wars constantly with Google Trends. And they did as a comparison, they did Final Fantasy versus WoW versus ESO versus New World. And basically what it showed was, you know, New World had a big spike and then disappeared recently. WoW was a fucking juggernaut, a titan, and has been shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And for the first time it showed like Final Fantasy was trending over WoW around the Endwalker release. And they were all geeking out and excited about it. And I got really crushed because I looked at that and I was like, oh, that's interesting, blah, blah, blah. Because trends usually are interesting. But I got really crushed that their community didn't even fucking think to put Guild Wars 2 on it. They didn't even think to put Guild Wars 2 on it. They put ESO on it. They put Elder Scrolls Online on it. They put New World on, which is something of a more recent phenomenon. Guild Wars 2 didn't even get onto the point of comparison. In the thread, people talked a little bit about Guild Wars, and they were doing the same thing. They were giving their theories about Guild Wars 2's success or lack of success and stuff. So it was at least on some people's minds. It's always really interesting for me to read stuff like that. You hear like random punditry from... I mean, who are these people? When did they quit? What did they know when they were playing? From what era are they? Like, there was a guy in that thread that was talking about how Guild Wars 2 failed because it wasn't a true sequel to Guild Wars 1 or whatever. And first of all, Guild Wars 2 hasn't failed. But, you know, it didn't become what he wanted or whatever. And it's like, wow, there are still people hung up on even that. The fact that it's not the same format of RPG. And then naturally everyone gets in a really boring conversation about, well, actually it is a sequel because it's the same world building and lore, and it's like, okay, fine, but that's tangential to the point this guy's trying to make, isn't it? The interesting discussion here is about the merits of following along with a Guild Wars 1 style RPG versus a WoW or more traditional style MMO, just with tweaks, which is what Guild Wars 2 is. But no, they didn't want to talk about that. They wanted to fuss over minutiae. Right, I've got to get this POI. And it's like underground somehow, somewhere. Let me just quickly scan the rest of this roof. There's sky scales on the roof. Wild ones, that's cool. A little craven. A single random demon wandering around up here is very odd. I get the sense that this is a big ass room here. This is Lear's tower. But how do we get into the big ass room? I have swung around this, right? While ranting away and not fully paying attention. It's event locked. It's during an event. Oh wow, you guys are really coming with the info bombs here. Okay. But I don't see any events proccing. Interesting. So what event is here at Balance? I guess it... Oh, here we go. Lear. Here you go. Escort Lear to the Great Hall so he can rebalance himself. But where are you, Lear? You're already in the Great Hall. Additional party members needed, 0 of 5. Group event. Hey guys, do you want to do this? I'll squad up. If anybody wants to play with me, I'm on EU right now. Oh, I might be on NA actually. No, on EU, I guess. I think this is EU. Very low ping if it's NA. I'm pretty sure I'm on EU, and yeah, I don't know where we start it. Oh, probably at the base. Here you go. Let's see what Lear says. And I'll type in map chat. And ping the waypoint. Just come to the Bastion of Balance waypoint. Wayfinder, thank you for your help. If I can ask just one more favour, I must rebalance myself inside the debate hall. Of course, Lear, whatever you need. Okay, so we got 1 of 5, so I'll wait here. I want to do the Olivia event. The Olivia event must be at the Obscure Bastion, then. Jesus, look at this. It's like we fully explored this. There's like nothing here. What is going on at the Bastion of Balance? And what's this mini island as well? That apparently is map comp up there. Did we get a single interactable? I don't know whether we did. It's interesting how End of Dragons took you 1/10 of the time of the Icebrood Saga story. Well, the Icebrood Saga story isn't... Okay, what are we talking about when we say story? Alright. I assume you're just beelining the story journal, which is to do a disservice. Hold on, let's listen to Lear. He says, I'm headed to the Bastion of Balance, could use some help, any takers. That's to do a disservice, really. But, it looks like none of these people can get onto my map. So maybe I am on NA. Oh no, it says join in Amnitas. You just right-click me, guys, and join on me. Oh, my map is full. Why the what? What do you mean it's full?
I'm headed for the Bastion of Balance and could use some help. Any takers?
We do have tags here randomly. Alright, I will swap, but what if the event's not up? I mean, fuck it, let's just swap. Well, now the event's gone. Let's try this guy. That was a totally different event. And the event's not here either. Third time's a charm. Yay! Okay, this guy's map's got it. Yeah, join on me now, guys. Join on me now. Nice. Unless this is the
Bastion of Balance.
No, you see, it's different. We got a different tag here.
Any takers?
Yeah, okay, based upon what I'm making is if you just story journal along, Icebrood Saga can take a while because the Dragonstorm patches, you know, champions, that whole era, they're long. It takes ages to go through all those DRMs. It's long, it's very stretched out. End of Dragons doesn't have any period like that, you know. End of Dragons is all action, it's all big movie stuff, start to finish, you know. Alright, here we go, let's see what they're saying.
By the great dwarf's beard. Look what those monsters have done. It's worse than I imagined. This was a place where the Astral Ward could come to heal and rejuvenate. Now look at what's become of it.
Talking about champions, is ArenaNet going to ignore
Defiling my
DRMs?
Bastion was the last mistake you'll ever make.
I think the fact they put them in the daily system is really wild. I want to just be clear, Dragon Response missions are not, you know, as a title for the feature, is no longer suited. But, you know, the format of questing, I stand by, I think is very good. I think they could go on with. But I kind of get annoyed with you saying ignore. What do you mean ignore? You know, just because a feature comes in, you know, it serves its function within the Icebrood saga. It's still there. They haven't removed it. It's not bugged. You know, it's playable. Just because once upon a time that was something that was worth what they were doing for the development constraints and stuff at the time. It doesn't mean it's now being ignored forever. It's a part of the game. There you go. It's done. It's over. It's kind of... I don't think that's the right phrase, saying... but, I mean, in terms of ignoring of, like... I'm actually going to mute this, because every time he interrupts me, it's just going to be random shit like, ooh, there are mobs here. In terms of, like, when they make new stuff, will they look back at it and inherit ideas? I think you may have a really good point, and maybe they should, you know. DRMs are kind of like a new version of dungeons, kind of. I don't know, though. It's weird. I would rather they figure out the whole dungeon fractal thing first. If they integrate, if they just made 8 new fractals, each one themed and following the story of an existing vanilla dungeon. I'm not talking about copy-pasting dungeon code. I'm talking about making fully new fractals, but follow the same, you know, use a lot of the same models and textures, right? And voice lines, right? But they are new things, essentially. Differently paced, differently lengthed. They're fractals. 8 new fractals, 1 on each dungeon. And then just have the story mode dungeons in the journal. If ArenaNet get to that point, what they can start doing with mini expansions is they can have dungeons in the story journal now, the story versions, and then repeatable variations are in the fractals. They can do that, they can integrate it. And they flirted with integrating fractals into the main story before, in Season 1 with the Scarlet, the Thormanova stuff. They flirted with it. In Season 4 you had the, God, what's her name, Amala? The backstory of Amala in there. I think it's really worthwhile. But, you know, it means doing the groundwork first. So. Or should the dungeons be DRMs integrated into the story? See, I don't agree with that. I don't think we need dungeons. I don't think we need DRMs and fractals. I don't agree with bloat, system bloat. I think have one area that people go to do their dungeon experience, fractals. You know, it's in the same LFG, it looks populated, you can get groups, it's all under the same currencies and reward architecture. Keep shit together, okay, seriously. Alright, let's get the dialogue on now.
Vilers! They'll pay for this. They'll pay!
Oh, he split.
This madness must be stopped. I'll rip these beasts apart. With me.
I like that. The emotional guy was written emotional. The logical guy was written logical and pragmatic. That's great. Look at this fucking thing here. Wow.
The cryptists are perpetuating an endless debate and feeding on the emotional fallout. We have to bring this place to order before we take out the big ones.
This room's
Go handle
awesome.
the smaller cryptists and calm those debaters down. I'll work on a spell.
It's like a cryptist psyops, you know?
One undeniable fact. The harpy came before the egg.
Oh, Balderdash, present your evidence.
What better evidence than the very creature itself? I ask you, have you ever set eyes upon a harpy?
Of course I have.
Are you positive? Need I remind you that you are under oath?
I've seen a blasted harpy before. damn it.
Then you have seen the fair bird's elegance and beauty, yes? Surely a creature born of perfection. Such a specimen could never have initially been birthed from an egg. I rest my case.
This is really good. I really like this. I'm sure there's someone out there whining that this is too political, too reflective of real life or whatever. But come on, it's funny. It's a good observation. I like this a lot. This is speaking directly to internet denizens, I tell you. This is the flat Earth situation, hysteria. You know, this is the works right here. So there's a sound block. I don't even know how to do this. I just want to listen to them.
A miracle, truly a work of the gods. Surely they existed long before your wretched harpy.
Objection! Hearsay!
Overruled! I'll allow it. Hard-boiled, over-easy, sunny side up, scrambled. Their versatility is truly unmatched.
See, this is what Guild Wars is so good at, man.
Nobody eats harpy eggs.
Your mother eats harpy eggs!
Nobody's asking for this, nobody rates this, but Guild Wars is the funniest MMO. There's no way that anyone else is close. That's so good. So what the fuck? There's a gavel, so I want to slam the gavel on the sound block.
Order! Order!
That's good. Okay, this is a different type of event as well. Should I do it again? Where am I getting the gavels from? The guys?
Idiot! Reprobate!
That
reprobate!
That's not even a real insult!
Your face is a real insult.
Shut up!
Shut up!
Stop it!
Holy shit, I love it. Oh, I love it. I want to spend all my time in here. I wonder how much more they have to say. Oh my god, we get a mastery point for that.
Just the opening we needed. Now's our chance. Time to die, demons! For once, I'm in total agreement. Let's smash them!
Now this bit I've done, actually. I think when I first played through, we came here and the room was already open.
Are already too late. We've harvested all the energy we need. Now the door shall be opened.
So their plan was to open a portal to Nios, eh? Well, we can't have that. Gather that magicka, quickly.
Holy shit, it launches. Yeah, so you do these phases and then you have to like sync burn them, basically. And this again will come up in the meta as well. This is a really great event. This is a real highlight of the map for me. Yeah, and so I've done this bit. I missed the awesome debating and the escort in, I guess. Lear's broken the avatars. Quickly engage them again. So just don't all stand on my tag, obviously, because we want to kill them both together. And you see the one that I'm at is a lot lower, so... And when I did this on launch week, it was really tricky. Like, we kept overburning and then had to go to the other one, and then overburning and then had to go to the other one. So it's just on either end of the hall, basically, guys. They're draining health from their thralls. Take to the air and grab orbs again. Okay. I think this whole, like, gathering orb thing during the fights is alright. I don't want to do it too much, though. I want to get a good, reasonable, you know, bit of combat uptime. That's the problem with tagging. All the people want to tag. Yeah, but, you know, if you can communicate a little bit, which is hopefully what I've just done there, I think we'll be fine. Like, their health bars have already equalized. The tag was mostly, to be honest, to get... Oh, I fucked that up. To get the 5 people initially, right? To even start the event. There's also a problem, you know, when I play a build like this and I spam quickness out, if they don't have someone doing that on the other side, it can be a problem. Classically, that was a problem. Nowadays, since the Boon update, I don't know, don't you guys feel the same way? It's like everyone always has all boons all the time. I guess I don't have alacrity, to be fair, right now, so maybe I'm wrong. Right, we go again. So what are they going to say? Do this every 25% health? Is that what's going on here? There's a lot of orb collecting now. Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's good to see you, man, by the way. And it's just that thing of like too much. It's just, I mean, look, we get it. If there was like something else, maybe with the fireballs to do at the same time, I don't know. Last time I was here, I don't remember getting launched like that. I think it's because I didn't have the sky scale mastery, the combat launch, so it wouldn't do it. Oh man, I dodged there but didn't move. There's a weird bug with Guild Wars, I don't really know what triggers it, but where essentially you dodge and instead you will evade, but you just won't move, like physically your hitbox position won't change. And I get it very rarely, and it always freaks me out in PvE, like there. Also, that doesn't look dodgeable, because I swear I just dodged that perfectly. Alright, there you go. Something about a lantern just procced there as well. I'm not sure what that was. Where are you, Lear? Okay, he's recombined.
Thank you, Wayfinder. The Great Hall is now free of Cryptus and their foul
Well, no, he
stench.
hasn't. I think it bugs.
Balance has been restored. Once we've run them out of Omnitas, I vow to make this bastion grander than it ever was before.
And of course that won't happen because, you know, it'll be on a loop.
What happened? Where are we?
Oh, they're going to talk about that egg discussion.
I remember we were arguing. Something about harpies. And eggs?
What? Sounds idiotic.
I don't know how they put the fucking cheese on. If anyone knows what I was referring to there, you're a legend. What's downstairs then? This wasn't even used in the event. Yeah, see, I already have this because I did it before. Weird, it's just a big empty hall down here. Yeah, it's a big pretty room. There's no lore. Really, I think we did the big lore ones first. Oh no, well mind you, we got the Bastion of the Obscure as well. With Livia. I'm building up way too much. It's hard. The thing about that event is it's really difficult. Now, if I wait long enough, will Lear say something interesting maybe when he resets his position? Somehow I doubt it. Man, the Bastion of Balance has got like nothing going on. I am very curious. Anyone who ends up watching this VOD later, if you drop me a YouTube comment to tell me if I missed A, B, C, D, X, Y, or Z, because seriously, there was almost nothing on the Bastion of Balance that I could find. Of course, as soon as I want to mount, I'm like, well, no, I can do it in combat anyway. Ready? Here we go. Woo. All right. So this is the dubious islet, which is a lot like this one, the derelict ruins. It's like an extra mini island. There's a fly, an ambient fly. There's some sky chuck. It looks a bit like Maguma. No books or anything. I think this is where the Livia event takes you. I think you fly all around here with the target shootout thing. Oh, and thanks to everyone who just joined squad just randomly on a whim like that to do that group event. That was very cool, guys. I like what they're doing with those as well. When it's not a meta, but it is a group event, they tend to have you just get 5 people before it even procs. I think that's a better way of doing it than frustrating people with like, oh, it's a normal dynamic event, and then it's a normal dynamic event, and then suddenly it's a group event, and you can't beat the final boss or whatever. But that happened like a lot in vanilla, and it sucked. Okay, so now we're on the Bastion of the Obscure here. Yeah, and the Livia thing is here. I think she runs out over here, and we do all that. I'm going to do that next time, guys. So, slightly shorter one today, but there you have it. And also, we spent a lot of time ranting about other games, I guess. Don't burn me to death. Bastion of the Obscure, plus the meta on the next one. We will have our final rifts with that as well. In fact, maybe I'll do one right here, right now. Time remaining to lure out targets. Yeah, it's right there on the Bastion of Balance, so we can do that. Oh, I do like going in updrafts on sky scales, I have to say. I'm not going to waypoint because that's low down, and from here I can probably just drop in. Ah, damn. If I could made that jump, it would have been pretty nice. Oh, have I missed it? Because that's the elite, isn't it? Come on, I'm closing the rift. Look, I'm doing it. This counts. It counts, game. Look. Oh. Do you remember when Grothmark came out? I kept talking about how the map made me feel itchy. Like, you had to be in the right place at the right time exactly, or you were missing shit. Do you remember that thing? Itchy. I feel that way about these fucking rifts. And, oh, as well, you know I mentioned, like, the Steam reviews and how it had, like, mixed reviews and there were only 14 or something. One of the bad reviews is literally just someone angry about the rifts. Like, it's a tale as old as time as far as Guild Wars is concerned. Yeah, you can miss events. It's kind of... I don't like it either, but, you know, I kind of accept that it's baked into the format, right? Like, here, let's go do this rift instead. Kind of annoying to get to, but also at one of today's bastions. I kind of, you know, I get it, right? But that's like one of the major reviews. People are like, oh, the story it took me ages because I couldn't get the rifts, you know? And it's so weird. It's funny for me to think about that because, like, that's the ultimate sin, is it? That's what gets a bad review, that the story takes slightly longer to do. And I mean, let's be realistic, right? We're not him. We don't have to exaggerate. How many rifts do you think he missed? 3, 4, 5? And that would be frustrating, don't get me wrong. But that's the weird thing about MMOs, you know, like, they offer you so many experiences, so much shit can happen, so many things are there to judge and review and whatever. And a lot of people just don't give a fuck about all that, you know. You trip up on the one little thing and that's it, you know. It's just not easy to review massive, broad games like this. Is this actually a part of the Rift? I mean, they have the dark red icon, so I think it is, but I'm going to go stand over here just to be sure. I definitely tag it. And what that probably means, guys, is we'll get a bit of Zolja dialogue here right before we end. Zolja or maybe Mabon. Don't forget, by the way, in the story right now, the idea is that we are hunting Mabon down.
We've almost got him. Just a few more.
There she is.
Do not lose your grip, Sizzle. Root yourself.
I've done this the slowest shit. I mean, seriously, haven't we done like 5 parts here? I've gone the slowest, most leisurely, touristy way through this map. And in theory, like, there's something intense should be happening. Alright, we close the rift. I'll pull the avatar out. Pacing issues are pretty huge, though. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't deny that was probably frustrating. I mean, I've been experiencing myself. I think that's the itchiness that I'm talking about, you know. I really don't like it about events. Alright, there you go. So one more, and we've done all the incursion shit on this map, I guess. There's no AP on this anyway. Oh, I think this is just actually looping and giving us this, like, the bonus rewards thing. I actually haven't opened any of those. Should we open those? Riftis... Sorry, Riftis. Cryptis Rift extractions. And we get these, which I think are all for obsidian armor. And are now depositable as well, by the way. With that recent patch, I don't know if I mentioned it. It's funny, someone in Spud Chat the other day was like, when are these runestones going to be depositable, for God's sake? And I just sort of thought, does it really matter that much? And I think I typed something like that. And then boom, like a day later, there was a patch came out and made them depositable. And I was like, well, fuck me, shut me up. It's like the Jade ones from Ender Jaggers. I think that's why this shared inventory slot here is empty now. Oh no, or is that because Black Lion chests with it? Yeah, never mind. But I had it in my slots up here for ages. And, yeah, it's not really needed. There you go, and it's in the spell crafting with Gareth. Okay, so, yeah, that's it, guys. Last one is probably the last episode at Amnitas. Before the exciting conclusion of the story. And we move into post-game. So thank you very much for watching. We'll start the next one here at the beginning of the map again, but instead of going right and all the way around, we're going to go left and hit the Bastion of the Obscure and probably get our last fun little bits of lore. And then, of course, there's the World Spire itself, which is like really high as well, by the way. Like, we got to actually climb up a lot to get there. And you'll see a very cool meta event. I mean, I don't know how it feels to play ad nauseum. I think some meta events I still have fun in, even when I've done them a ton, like Tyria, for example. Like, I always enjoy doing Tyria. This, who knows how it will feel when you've spammed it a lot. In fact, there's probably a bunch of people who already have spammed it a lot and are sick of it. But we'll see. I think it's got a lot of fun spectacle. It's a really cool part of the expansion. So I'll see you for that on the next one. Thank you again, everybody. I hope you all have a great morning, and I will see you tomorrow for more fun times. Take care now, guys. Don't forget about the Blish updates and stuff. And I'm available to chat, comments, or come join over in Discord. Thanks, guys. Catch you later. Oh, don't forget to charge quartz. I'll need a lot of it for achievements. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that as well. Thank you. Oh, we got a donation from somebody. Thank you, man. 10 SGD. That's really nice of you. Thank you. Sorry, I'm sitting here silently just catching up on chat here. All right. Catch you guys later. Bye-bye.